Allow me to introduce you to one of my all-time favorite possessions. It's a GPS. After I got lost doing a wedding out of town a while back and almost missed the whole wedding, as a gift for doing their wedding, this extremely forgiving couple bought me this GPS. And I've grown to depend on it greatly. It's almost as if my life depends on it, and perhaps in many ways it has. Certainly it's safer for me to find my way when I am alone driving in a car, especially in a foreign city, but sometimes just from here to Clayton. And much of what I do, especially on the road, is tightly timed, and it's imperative that I get there on time, especially if those events happen to be weddings or funerals. It has indeed, my GPS, become one of my most precious possessions. My GPS is so helpful to get to where I want to know exactly where it is, to know exactly how long it's going to take to get there, to know exactly how far to the next turn, even within feet. Wonderful. A GPS is indeed a wonderful invention. But there's no GPS when it comes to love. There is no GPS when it comes to figuring out relationships. As we grow, as I grow, as my friend grows, what used to work doesn't always work anymore. There are no turn-by-turn directions in our relationship with each other. Wouldn't it be great if there were turn-by-turn directions on how to make a marriage work over 60 years? Or for any long-term friendship. Oh, we promise to be there for each other, but that looks so different in every stage of development, in every surprising, unexpected circumstance, and sometimes even on the same day. We too, we friends, we spouses, one with another, we are growing people. Each of us is growing personally, and we're trying to make this grow together. Strengths and talents and issues, the challenge indeed, emerge as we go. There are no turn-by-turn directions on how to do love. There's a couple I know, very, very dear to me, married over 30 years now. They have what I would consider to be a very, very good marriage. Yet they are investing together in soul-searching counseling right now, even though their marriage is awesome. Because, as he put it, there is just always too much joy as yet unmet to settle with the way we have been for 30 years now. There is just always too much joy, he said, too much joy as yet unmet to settle with the way we have been these 30 years. Married people over the years know there are no turn-by-turn directions on how to do this. Parents, you know it too. You know the challenge of loving each child of yours differently from the rest, according to their own limitations and issues and talents and strengths. You know how hard it is. Chris and Kalechi have just introduced us to their little baby daughter and asked her to receive us into our universal church. Both of them are alums of Washington University and the CSC. Chris came here 18 years ago of my 20 years here for the first time. Both of them are now practicing psychiatrists. Kalechi is even a child psychiatrist herself. Yet if you ask them, psychiatrists though they be and smart as a whip, If you ask them if they got it figured out, if they have a clear plan, if they know turn by turn what to expect in raising this new child and loving this child so different from the other three, they figure it out as they go, they would say. They make a lot of mistakes, they have a lot of support, and they do their best. And it's certainly true in ministry. Campus ministers would agree, I'm sure. And me, I just mentioned last week that I was celebrating my 34th anniversary in the priesthood yesterday. It's one of those occasions where you just think about stuff, you know? And I was thinking about how much things have changed. And in the last 20 years, how much students have changed over the years and the issues they face, how different they are from then. And I got to thinking, I could have never expected things to take sometimes the turn they did over these 34 years. Sometimes within a week, much less those years. Then and now, ooh. And here already in these 20 years, students so different from then, students so different from each other. What works for one doesn't work for another. There is no GPS for love. For all of us, there are just a lot of guesses about what the next best thing to do is. Oh, there is time-worn wisdom. I am deeply grateful for the wisdom of our saints and our mystics and our elders who give us guidance. But their lives aren't ours. What worked for them may not work for us. But at least we got something, you know. There are rules that work, doctrine, law, things like that can be at our service with each other. But that mostly just keeps us on the road and gives us the curbs that define the way. And there are friends, thanks be to God, and mentors along the way, young and old. I have been as led by the young people who are students as I have by my oldest friend. Young and old, whose perspectives help us make better choices. True. But it's just not as clear as my GPS. As about what to do next, about what the next best thing is. And it never will be clear, you know? Never, ever. And so was it for him. It was not a step-by-step, turn-by-turn for this Jesus. Again and again, he had to decide, now what? This is not what I expected. In the face of this betrayal, in the face of this disillusionment, in the face of them not getting it, in the face of the fear I'm having for my own life right now, in the face of all of it, now what? Each time, now what? This is not what I expected. Now what? For him, the way was clear, obviously, self-emptying, self-giving love. That's the way for him. But he had to ask himself again and again, okay, what does self-emptying, self-giving love look like now, and now, and now? How often would he be recalculating? His inner disposition was really all he had, and his trust, that is his faith. He had his inner disposition of believing that he could be ready and to do whatever he needed to that was necessary for love's sake the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Oh my gosh, you guys, we need that same trust, that same inner disposition. We are so lucky to have doctrine and wisdom and community, and that's what we're immersing this little girl into today. We're so lucky to have that. Sometimes we know what not to do, what's the wrong thing to do or say, but we don't always know what the right thing to do now is. In this circumstance, in this moment, at this mile marker. What now? And now? What is the next best thing to do? It's just not this clear, the direction. in each moment, and gone is the security of knowing, in this distance I turn this way exactly then. That could cause a lot of anxiety in us. That could make life, and for sure love, awfully stressful. But rather than stress that there is no route, no plan, did you catch the first words of today's gospel? Do not let your hearts be troubled. Don't stress about this, my friends, because I will take care of your mistakes. I will help you make the right turn, and when you make the wrong turn, I will help you recalculate. I will help you get back over the curb that you jumped in that decision. And even that jump curb, and even going in the wrong direction, I will use to bring me closer and you closer to me and to somebody along the way. And if you get a flat tire, I'm going to help you change it. So please, he says, I know it can be scary and stressful to not have the turn by turns in love, but I'll be there for you. Just like I was for Jesus, my son. So will I for you, my daughter, my son. This Jesus is the way, he's the road. And therefore for us too, we have that same road, this path of self-emptying, self-giving love. But what it looks like at this time in my life, with this person, in this location, with what is going on now, we'll figure it out together. Our call, my friends, is to just be available, alert, awake, adaptable, listening, ready to recalculate at all times, and to do what is needed right now. I love my GPS. It really helps me to know what to do to get where I'm going and what I need to do next. But there is no GPS for love.